This is a slightly different video for me. One, because we're not in Liverpool, and usually my videos are about Liverpool and the surrounding area. And secondly, number two, the entire video is going to be done from the camera in the windscreen of my car. My wife and I have had a morning out in Windermere in Cumbria, the Lake District, and we're heading home now, but rather than head for the nearest junction, which would take us south on the M6, we've decided to head north and drive along the Kirkstone Pass. We've just turned onto the Kirkstone Pass. We're actually on it now, and the Kirkstone Pass is part of the A592. So this journey is taking us out of our way. We're heading north rather than south, and we're going to head to the M6 junction, which I think is the Penrith junction. So from here to the M6, I think, is going to take us around about 45 minutes or so. Going to film the full journey, so you're going to see the Kirkstone Pass and then the rest of the A592 until we get to the M6 motorway. Now, of course, we understand if you don't want to stay with us for 45 minutes. So you can jump out anytime you want. We're not going to stop, it's up to you. But if you want to carry on to the end, you're very welcome. We started off this morning, we decided to come to Windermere to do some photographs and take some video around the lake. And when we set off from home, it was quite sunny. It was a nice blue sky day. But by the time we got to Windermere, it was a little bit overcast and cloudy and a little bit chilly. But we got what we came for, I guess, and we went to the pub for lunch, and we decided to drive home. But this journey along the Kirkstone Pass is completely unplanned. It's been a fair while since I've actually driven it. It's a nice road to drive. It's not particularly narrow. It's got some pretty tight twists and turns at times, and there's a number of speed limits ranging from 30 mile an hour, 40 mile an hour, and then the open road national speed limit restriction. So there's quite a few different speed limits, but I'd like to point out that at no time did I ever exceed any of these speed limits. That would be very, very naughty, and I don't do things like that. So if it does look like I'm going faster than the speed limit, it's probably just the camera. It gives a false sense of speed sometimes. So now, of course, that we've decided to drive home, the sun's come back out again, which is sod's law, isn't it? You set off and it's nice and sunny, you get to where you want to be and it's dull as dishwater, and then you set off home and the sun comes out. Anyway, I hope that this video, if you've never been along the Kirkstone Pass before, I hope this video gives you an idea of how nice the Lake District is as a place to visit. And we've visited this area quite a few times over the years, and we've always come at this time of year, just as spring starts or before Easter, because there's less people about and you can drive this road without it being nose to tail. You can climb up the fells without everybody and his dog wanting to park the car next to yours. It's a really good time to come, rather than midsummer when everyone's here. So these hills that you can see around us, around here, are called fells. So if you go climbing them, you become a fell walker, or if you're very quick, you become a fell runner. The Cumbrian Fells, and I guess the hobby or pastime of fell walking and fell running, became popular through the efforts of a man called Alfred Wainwright, who wrote books. He also drew maps and guides of all the fells in this area and the best ways to access them and climb across them. Wainwright was born in January 1907 in Blackburn in Lancashire, and he died in January 1991 here in Cumbria. Now, Alfred Wainwright wasn't a professional fell walker by any means. He was an accountant by occupation, but his fell walking and his map drawing and his illustrations of this area were a hobby which he did at weekends. My wife and I visiting the Lake District dates back to the early 1980s. Some of my wife's relatives moved here, and we used to come up for a weekend and visit them. Back in those days, it was the early 1980s, and back in those days I was working as an engineer, and we would finish work on a Friday tea time, and we would pack the car and we would head up to the lakes and spend Friday night, Saturday and Sunday in the Lake District, and then head back home for Monday morning. But later on, we bought the Wainwright books and started to do some fell walking. We've done quite a few of them over the years. Some spectacular views from the top. At its highest point, the Kirkstone Pass reaches an altitude of 1,489 feet, and I think it does that when we reach the Kirkstone Pass Pub. So when we get there, we're going to park in the car park which is opposite the pub and just stop for a few moments. Okay, so I'm going to stay quiet now until we reach the pub car park. nearly parked in a disabled space then. Anyway, behind the pub is a fell, and its peak is called Stoney Cove Pike. My wife and I climbed it in around about 2010, so I thought I would show you some of the photographs that were taken back then, and then we'll carry on our journey. The small lake you could see there is called Brothers Water, and we'll be passing that soon on our left hand side. Right, setting off again now. I'm not sure what these guys are doing. Taking photographs of the pub by the look of it. The pub is actually shut for some reason, and we've just had a camera malfunction. Had to pull over and reset the GoPro in the windscreen. I don't know if it's got too hot, but seems to be fine now. We've only missed a couple of yards or a couple of meters. It's not spoiled the journey in any way, so apologies for the slight merging of images. We're going to pass two lakes on this journey. Brothers Water, which was in one of the photographs there, will come up on our left hand side. We're going to be pretty much level with it, so you'll have to look out for it. We're not going to be looking down on it. It's basically to our left hand side. Brothers Water is only a small lake. Later on we pass Ullswater, and that'll be on our right hand side, and that's one of the larger lakes, and it'll be on our right hand side for quite some time, I think. But I'm aware that none of these lakes in the Lake District are actually called lakes. Even Windermere, when you go to the town of Windermere, it's signposted the lake, but it's not actually a lake, it's Windermere. And Brothers Water isn't a lake, it's a water. It's Brothers Water. It's not Brothers Water Lake. Ullswater is just Ullswater, and the other famous one around here is Coniston, and that's just Coniston Water. It's not Coniston Lake or Coniston Water Lake. So although they're not formally called lakes, and people like to call them by their name, you know, like Brothers Water, Windermere, we are actually in the Lake District. It's really confusing, isn't it? English, I don't know. Also on this journey we passed through the village of Patterdale, which is quite a nice picturesque village, and around that area there's some really nice fells to walk. My wife and I have done most of them in that particular area. One of them is Striding Edge, and Google Striding Edge, it'll give you an idea of what I'm talking about. I don't want to put a photo of it on, that might distract from the drive. But it's quite a difficult walk. It's a very, very thin pathway at a fair old altitude, so if you've not got a head for heights, Striding Edge will probably give you the jitters. It's not for the faint-hearted, but that's in the Patterdale area. We'll probably drive past it, but I'll probably get it wrong of which one it is, because there's quite a few high peaks around there. But for the rest of this journey I'm going to stay quiet. I will point out Brothers Water when we get there. I'll point out the village of Patterdale and Ullswater when we get there. But I'll just let you enjoy the journey for now. So we're just going past Brothers Water. I hope you can see it on our left hand side. I can see it from where I'm sat, but the camera's in front of me and a little bit lower, and I can't see what it's recording because the screen's not on. The screen turns off after a while. But that's Brothers Water on the left hand side. I don't know if you noticed the sign on the left hand side, but we've just entered the village of Patterdale. There's a car park on the left here behind this wall. If you ever want to come and do some fell walking in this area, then this is a good place to stop. On the right hand side, the first sighting really of Ullswater. I think this is probably somewhere where Ullswater actually starts, but it's going to be on our right hand side on and off for a good chunk of this remaining journey now. There hasn't been very many people around today. The hikers and the fell walkers and the general holiday makers. And it's really because, well, one, this is a weekday and everybody who's got a job is at work or at home working. But also it's pre-season. Once you get to Easter and the holiday season starts to kick in properly, then you won't be able to move around here. You won't be able to park. You won't be able to get near any of the amenities that you've set out to use or to see. It's just a sea of people. And that's why I like to come at this time of year, just before the holiday season starts, because you get the chance of having a nice bright day, but you can also enjoy it by being able to see the scenery, or to stop and have a drink somewhere, or to stop and sit by one of these lakes. Okay, so there's not really much more for me to say. I think I'll just stay quiet and let you enjoy the view until we get to the M6. So if you stayed this long, I'd like to thank you for watching, and as always, we'll catch up soon.